Hey, it's Shane Forsyth here from Australian Success Academy. Let me help you understand how to get the most out of non-fiction books that you read. So one of the things I see a lot of people do is they'll read non-fiction books because they're a great source of information. And there are people out there that are trying to read as many non-fiction books as they can. And I'm a big advocate of reading as much as you can. But I'm not an advocate of just reading for the sake of reading. What I am an advocate of is starting to implement the information that you glean, that you get from those books. So let me share with you a really effective way of being able to, one, collect the information together, two, be able to retain that information, and three, be able to implement it and review that information. So step one, when you are reading a book, what I'd encourage you to do is start to, get rid of that old belief that you need to keep the books in pristine condition. I can show you my books and there's highlighters and there's pen marks all the way through it, because for me, I'm not trying to keep the book in pristine condition. I'm trying to optimize and maximize the amount of retention of the information I get from the book. So what I'll do is I'll use a highlighter, and as I'm reading, I will highlight certain passages that really stand out to me, or any information that creates like light bulb moments for me. And so what happens by the end of that book, I now can very quickly skim through it and find all the most important parts, or the parts that connected with me the most, so I can then condense them. So after reading a book, I will then dedicate an additional roughly 45 minutes to going through each page and now collecting all of those areas that I've highlighted. And what I'll do is I'll put them into a mind map. Now, if you don't know what a mind map is, it's a graphical way to represent information. And so you have a center and there's branches that come out. And I'll put a graphical image here for you to have a look at. So now that you understand what a mind map is, what I do is I mind map the entire content of the book. What that does, it gives me a one-page cheat sheet of all the information that really connected with me the most, that's now in this single sheet, this single view. And so what I end up doing is I will print out that. I'll print out that mind map and I put it somewhere I'm going to see often. Then what I do is I make a commitment to myself that for the next few days, I'm going to review that mind map for about 5 minutes a day. Now I'm just going to remind myself of the content that stood out to me, just quickly review the mind map, put it away, work on with my day, go on with my day. Then the next day I'll pull it out again, spend maybe 3 minutes going through it. Because I can tell you this, the more that you review it, the more it starts to sink in, the more you remember the content. The more you'll start to be thinking about how you can take action differently, because you'll be reinstalling all that information into both your conscious mind and your unconscious mind. You can't help but start to behave and perform in a different way when you start to remind yourself of all those standout points from the book. And what I'll then do is I'll remind myself, I will go through it again, I'll review it 7 days later, then I'll review it 2 weeks later, then I'll review it a month later, then I'll review it 3 months later. And so I set this calendar schedule so that I'm looking at it once in a week's time, in a fortnight, in a month, in a 3 months, 6 months, and then 12 months. Because it starts to become a pattern and you start to live and breathe the information from the book. Now, I don't mind map every single book. I'm not one of these people that reads 52 books a year. I just don't. Because I spend a lot of time really trying to choose the right books that I'm going to invest myself in, because I want that book to be able to change my life significantly. And so I'd love to hear, what great books have you read lately? Comment below. I'd love to hear it. What do you think about this strategy to be able to retain the information, be able to learn it better and implement it better from the books that you read? Have you tried mind maps before? Any questions you got, comment below. Thanks for watching.